Welcome back. So I've just come back from the second round in Channelwood, and I should mention that when you go back to Channelwood for the other page, once you've set everything up to get in and out of the age the first time, you don't have to do it all again from scratch when you go back again. Everything that you've arranged on your first visit will still be in place, which is nice because it means that you only need to operate the one water supply junction switch, just the very first one after the water comes out of the pump room. And then, you just have to switch it one way to get up to where the page is, and switch it the other way to get to power the elevator that takes you up to the book back to Myst. So anyway, here we are back on Myst, and I guess it's time to move on to another place of protection. So we're going to go for the one that's described in this second journal on the top shelf. First one is the one for Channelwood, of course. And well, we should go to the map and do the tower rotation thing again. Okay, so right now the only thing it's locking on to is the tree and the cabin that got us to Channelwood, so clearly we need to try something else. So let's the journal will hint at what we need to aim for, so let's try talks about you may recall when I was flipping through it at the beginning of the Let's Play, there's a picture of a ship, so hit the marker switch next to the ship in the dock there, which is distressingly submerged. And let's try that again. There we go, that's got a response. Good. So again, if we want to figure out what the tower is trying to tell us, we need to get up there. So that painting again, it's painting on the left-hand side of the bookcase. Here we are again. Once again, we have to close the lift door, and away we go. See, we're aligned to the ship's mast and crow's nest there. And what does that get us? Three very distinctive dates. Again, and times no less. So once again, mission critical. Write stuff down. So. Otherwise you're going to be going around in circles a little bit. What a combination of dates it is. So we'll Alright, so hopefully that was enough time for you to copy it down. It certainly was for me. And then we go. So having been given those dates, depending on how much random exploration you've done on the island up to this point, it may not be immediately obvious what you're supposed to do with them, so we'll go and have a look. Okay, so once again, the right hand painting to open it all up again. Okay. So the ship's underwater, that's a bit of an issue. It's also worth mentioning this model ship that's surrounded by these. And what do they signify? Well, Again, I mentioned earlier that some of the time you're going to have to go to the journals to find out what's going on. This is one of those times. So this is what we're looking for. So there is a set of constellations, and this can be tricky. So again, try to sketch them if you can, but try to just hold them in your mind if you can. But we're looking for constellations. Apparently, there's some astronomy talk in that journal. Well, the thing that most looks like an observatory around here is this place. That lovely thing on that lovely medallion on the door. Okay. Well, it's either that or a torture chamber or a dentist's office. So, turn the lights off. Yep, definitely an observatory. Okay. So you get in here, you just click on the chair once, and then to open up the system, you do that. Okay. So now we're on to something. So these sliders, this is month, this is day, that's year, and this is time. So let's get started. Alright, so the first date was October 11th, 1984. Whoa, okay, this counter goes up a ways. And the counters are a little imprecise, so you use the slider to kind of get into the ballpark, and then you gotta just tap the arrow buttons a couple of times to get it narrowed down. And the time is 10:04 a.m. Alright, so that looks like, well, now you got to match that to one of the constellations that we saw pictures of in the journal and that are depicted on those pillars around the well. So that looks an awful lot like the leaf. Alright, so next up is January 17th, 1207, so somewhere back in the Middle Ages here. There we go. And the time is 5:46 a.m. Okay, another constellation, and you can sort of see there's a suggestion of two eyes here, so it looks like the serpent. And finally, there is November 23rd, 9791 is the year. 9791, oh, there we go. And the time is 6:57 p.m., so we're in the evening now. And it's a funny looking one, but there was a beetle constellation, so let's match that to that. All right. You know, when we were kids, we had a lot of fun with this. We used to like plug our birthdays or historical dates or something in and see what happened. So, get out of here, you just move the cursor off to the side again. You turn the lights back on. And there we go. So we had those three constellations picked out as particularly significant for us. And as I demonstrated earlier, one of you can switch colors on all of them. So there's a few different ones. There's the eye and the cross. Let's concentrate on the ones that we were shown. So if I hit the leaf, it's green. We've already done the serpent. And we go over. Here's the beetle. Aha! And again, another little bit of a bonus handed to us by the 360 movement system. You couldn't, in the game, original game, you just heard it happen, then you turned around and it had happened. Now you can actually turn around to watch it happen. Just kind of a nice touch. Alright, Alright, so down we go. The ship has risen. Last, I don't think it's going to sail anywhere, as cool as that would be. It's actually bobbing, which it didn't used to do. Ooh. And just head back into the cabin here. And another age awaits. So this one, as noted in the journal, is the Stoneship age. So let's dive on in. And here we are, and oh, terrific! It's raining. It wasn't raining in the original game. There was no way to do that. It just looked like a very cloudy, foggy day. It's a cloudy, foggy day, and a lot of the Ages of Myst come to that. But it is indeed raining in this version. And we're standing on the ship, which is somewhat inexplicably, to everyone, even in the game, somehow trapped inside the rock. We can't go down there. This passageway is flooded. These places we could go get out of the ring, and they're underwater. So. And then the lighthouse. We were shown the lighthouse. There's a picture of it in the journal. Alright, well, we're not getting up there. It's locked. There's a key here, but it's chained to the floor, so that's not going to get us anywhere either. Alright, so we're running out of ideas. Also head over here. And there's a stairway heading up. Oh, God, there's a lightning storm. What a time to go up a hill. But we head uphill here. Take in kind of a different perspective. Alright, so you gotta just click and hold. If you move the cursor to the far side of the screen, it disengages you from this telescope. And then you can turn it to point at the lighthouse. You can turn it to point anywhere, indeed. But that may be of use to us later. Alright, and so our last option, which fortunately does have an umbrella on it, are these things. And they make a distinct noise, which sounds an awful lot like a plunger, actually, but one suspects that it's meant to sound like a pump. And indeed it is. So it pumps out these passageways. Okay, can't see a blessed thing. So that's not getting us anywhere. But try the middle one. And then we pumped out this passage. And aha. Well, isn't this nice? There's this very opulent chamber that we've arrived in. And there's a certain amount of poking around you can do. I love that. No idea what it's for, but it just shows all the little there's a bigger world behind what we're doing. Oh dear, this person's got some bad habits, don't they? Alright, so you engage with this dresser thing. Ooh, money, money, money. And dinnerware, cloth. There's a hint to be had with that particular pattern there, but I won't say what it is just now. Absolutely nothing in that drawer. And a red page in this drawer. Ha 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 ha. So we'll pick that up and we can take it back to Myst later. There's also these. No idea what they are, but they're cool. It's a sign of high life that this individual is living. And it's difficult to do much in these passages because it's so dark, and as you see, you can poke around in the first chamber we went into. You're not going to accomplish much because you can't see a thing you're doing. So let's go around here. Actually, try the third pump and see what happens. Alright, so we've pumped out the lighthouse. Head down to the bottom, what do we find? A chest. Can't open it. We do have the spigot on the side, and it's full of water. Of course, if it is now empty of water, and I close the spigot again, now it's full of air. So this may be useful to us. And again, night's falling on Stoneship Age. Pardon me. Hell of a time to do that. Oh, they've actually got fork lightning bolts that they run in the background. I'd never noticed that before, as a matter of fact. Now the chest is floating because, of course, we emptied all the water out. Puts it within easy reach of our chained key, which, wouldn't you know, it contains another key. Alright, so you pick up that key and you just hold it in your hand. It doesn't become an inventory item, well, let's see if it unlocks this. And it does. The lock's sunk to the bottom. That's alright. Alright, so where are we? Ooh. Nothing like a good thunderstorm. So this is the top of the lighthouse, and let's see, you can used to be able to zoom in on it, but not anymore in the old game. But this, if you watch carefully, this meter on the pack here, as I turn this crank, just click and hold. There we go. So it's rising. So we're charging the batteries. It's a big battery pack there. Alright, so that's as charged as he's going to get. I'm going to head on down. I get out here and I look around. I've started up the lighthouse. And I've also turned the lights on. Haha. So there you go. Now, in the original game, looking through that telescope up on the mountain there was the only way you would. Was the only place from which you could see the lighthouse light running. I don't know why that was the case, but if you just look back at it like this, you wouldn't see the light. So that was how you figured out, and it just helped. It was kind of a handy tool to help orient you. So all those lights are on now. So if I head back down the stairs, this is back to that big opulent room that we entered earlier. Only I find this. You couldn't see it without the lights on, but it's easier to miss in that instance. So if I get in here, there's a sort of side passage. And so this compass we've come to here is a bit of a booby trap in a sense. If you push almost any of the buttons ringed around it, it will immediately kill the lights and set off an alarm. Nothing bad will happen, but it means you have to go back to the lighthouse and charge up the battery again and take another run at it. So knowing which one to push is a bit of a more obtuse trick than most. Just knowing what direction you want to hit. And the hint is actually something we looked at earlier, so to wit the telescope. So I'm going to head back out and show you. whoops, we want to go this way, back up to the telescope, figure out what we're looking for. Imagine how unbelievably slippery this thing would be. Alright, so I left it looking at the lighthouse, so what you want to do is just take a look at the line of the light. So we're interested in turning lights on here, so it's 135, and if you go around it goes all the way to 360 and then starts over again. So what you want to do is figure out what is the equivalent on a compass to 135 degrees out of a circle. And so you can do that any number of ways. I mean, the simplest way is draw a compass rose and then place a protractor over it. That would do the job in a pinch. Work it out from that. But for now, the short answer is it is southeast. So that's the southeast button. Give it a tap. Hey, let there be light. Suddenly the lamps in the water have come on and all these fishies floating around, which is kind of a really nice touch. I like that a lot. And so I'm going to head out this way. And you notice as we passed the telescope earlier, there is actually another passage, there's another stairway heading underground, besides the one that we started from that left off the rear deck of the ship. Because it's once again with the nature of the game, the original game, you could walk past that second doorway and not notice it, and then you might climb through one passage to get to the compass rose and not realize that you've gone out the other because of the way it rearranges your perspective to look at the compass. But then you're going to ultimately find yourself wandering into this room. So it's, in a sense, next door to the first one we looked at, and there's the blue page. So this is the pattern that we're starting to establish, and that will continue, is that every age has these two bedrooms, these two chambers in each one. One with the red, one has been consistently so far, rather opulent and fancy, with not lots of furniture and bottles and food, and in one case drugs. And then there's the other one where you find the blue page, which is more than a little creepy. That mattress looks like it should have been thrown out about a decade ago. Got some of the same masks as we saw in Channelwood in the hologram chamber. And here's this is one of my favorite things, is these maps. I love maps, and these are, you can't see them as well in this version of the game because of the shadow, which is kind of a pain. But there's all these maps of worlds that you don't visit in the game. You don't know where these are, but just they're wonderfully imaginative. Aha! Now this is important. Remember, we found one half of a secret message in the drawer in Channelwood, and now there's another half. So again, take a second to write this down. It'll be very, very important later, and then you can put the two together and work out what the instructions actually say. All right. So you can always pause this if you need a bit more time. And then there's another map. But the second chamber is always this dreadfully macabre. There's like trophies on the wall, all sorts of gross stuff. This thing, which you used to be able to get way closer to in the original game. I don't know why they leave you so far away from it now, but if I move that switch over, nice rose, yikes, skull. And then you can do and then there's just endless goofy fun to be had with flipping that thing back and forth. However, and it doesn't turn off, it just stays running. But it is also where you find the blue page. So I've got the red page, and I'll come back for the blue page like I did last time. Again, this is an example of what I was talking about, getting stuck on the doorways. And while I was in there, the battery in the lighthouse ran out, and now that alarm is going off, so you notice the lights have gone out. So now I need to go back and recharge the darn thing, if you please. But again, getting in and out of channel wood once you know how to do it is not terribly long involved. So you see this doorway down to the creepy chamber comes off the prow of the ship. The one to the opulent fancy chamber comes off the bow, the stern rather, excuse me. So I have to go back and recharge the battery. The battery doesn't last. I mean, I didn't do anything wrong. It ran out. So depending on how long you take, you're going to need to recharge it and take another run, and you're definitely going to need to recharge it when you come back to the Age. I don't think it matters how long you're gone. But it's one, you know, we've unlocked the lighthouse and everything, so it's not difficult to do. And then you just have to pump out the one chamber that we haven't really explored yet. Except it's still dark, and you know why? Because the power ran out, including the lamps that we started up when we first were in the compass rose room. So I need to pump those out again. And so once you know, so obviously this is taking a while because I took my time doing it so that I could show you everything. But once you know what you're doing, I mean, you can just breeze through this. There we go. There we have it. So it doesn't matter which one we get out of this at this point. So yeah, at this point you do have to move reasonably briskly to make it in time, but it's not, you know, 30-second countdown or anything like that. This is another one of those ages that should have people in it, as described in the journal, but doesn't. Okay, this is much better. So we turn those submersible lamps on, so now they're shining light into the cabin, which, by the way, is the nicest cabin I've ever seen. Now we can see what we're doing. And again, another kind of a nice touch in the new version of the game, realMyst, is all of that. See, you didn't used to see sea creatures in there, but now you got like an oarfish or something like it, lots of little fish, that sea turtle up there, some jellyfish, gorgeous stuff. It's you know, the CG quality is pretty retro by modern standards, but it's a heck of an upgrade on what we had before. You know, I can stare at that for ages. Like, even just sitting here, I'm seeing stuff that in the water that I don't remember noticing the last couple of times I've played the game. And then this table. And this is one of the coolest effects in the game. No idea what happened there, what the trick is, but it just looks cool. And once again, we arrive at our exit back to Myst and to the library. So I'll come back and get the blue page from Stoneship. It's, again, just a simple matter. If you charge the battery, hit southeast, and then pump out the relevant stairway, so use the left-hand pump, and then you come back and put the blue page in the book, and then we'll go on to the next age when we come back.